Hello, this is Okuna and welcome to the Galaxy on Fire 2 Supernova playthrough. Let's get right on where we've left off. We still have to build the Gamma Ray 2 shield, and we still need to get 10 tons of hypanium and 11 tons of Sisogan core, which we either can get by mining those or by buying them from a station. So, we remember we were in Nivalian space and the Nivalians were not very friendly to us. We can check our status and we are quite affiliated with the Midorians that the Nivalians do not like very much. So when we get out, we might be shot upon. So it would be best to immediately disappear or to defend ourselves, but that might make more enemies. So what shall we do? I'd say let's go somewhere safe, like into the Augmenta system, which is right next and which is therefore cheap to reach. Let's go to Gome C station, which is a very low tech level, and see what we can get there. Okay, we hear some fighting and we see some red dots, so yes, let's get out of here and not make more enemies than we already have. In the overview you could have seen that there are also the Terran and Vosk faction, and also being very friendly to the Vosks makes the Terrans angry and vice versa. So during the game you will have to decide which factions you will side with. So most probably when you are going through Terran space you will side with Terrans. When you're going through Vosk space you will like to side with the Vosk. And we have one Sisogan, including a Cordo. That's nice, so we will do some mining here. When I first encountered that mining minigame, I thought it was a nice and pleasant minigame for such a bigger game, and something I have not yet seen on other such open space trading, space fighting games, and it was a nice alternative. Now we will get a lot of Sisogan minerals, but in fact we only need the core, and I highly doubt that we will find 10 other such core type A asteroids here in the system, and I will hope that we will find a station which holds enough cores to satisfy our needs. Now you can see in the right upper corner our cargo hold is already full, like we discussed in the last episode. We only have very limited space, and that also means we will return to the station to load off our cargo and make room for more, especially if we would find some hypanium. So let's see what the station has on display for us. One Sisogan core which we need, and yeah, that seems to be enough hypanium, and let's get rid of all those Sisogan. We can employ the already found hypanium and the Sisogan core and let that ship to Thinome. Okay, so we only need 10 tons more of Sisogan. It was not available at this station, but it was available outside, so I will try my luck again on another station. Perhaps in the same system there might be a station carrying Sisogan core. So we just can target one of the other planets here in the system and fly there when we have targeted the right planet. Let me guess. No, this is a Nivelian freighter which does not like my presence. But fortunately it's too slow and I will have reached the station a little bit earlier. Okay, let's look into the commodity exchange, and there are cores but not of the right type. Okay, let's further look, and to speed up all that, let's select the system where we want to go. Let's take Myran here. Now the navigational computer does the selecting of the target planet for me and also flies there. And there are hostiles, also a Nivelian freighter, which does not interest us in the moment. Let's check some asteroids. And while on patrol for the last Sisogan course, well, does it say Sisogan one, but not a core containing one? Well, our radar shows the core containing asteroids, and here we do have one. They are all Class A asteroids. The radar pinpoints those on the screen for me. Now, last time we discussed what might be the best ship. I forgot one very special attribute which is not described in the overview of the ship, but it's nevertheless very important. You will see that attribute when you have the ship and when you actually use it in combat. It is the arrangement of the guns. Right now you can see the guns on the Void X fighter are very near to each other, which is very nice when fighting, so the shots will not disperse too much, and most probably they all will hit your target if you did target right enough. Now, there are other fighters, for example the New Yang 2, which has very spread out guns that also might be of helpful when you're fighting multiple enemies close together. But how often is that the case? I would say it's not that often. So pay attention to how near the guns are together and how nice you do like this fact. Okay, we got one further core. And we can sell all the Sisogan, which gives us some little extra credit. We saw some other ships here. Those are all quite cheap ones and very simple ones. You can see the price difference. I would get when I buy such a ship and cash in on the Void X fighter, which I would not have to. I can transport the fighter I already use to Camo Club and can therefore buy another ship and can fill up my collection on Camo Club. Okay, let's see on a further system like Kalunamir. Yes, travel there. And engage. There are a lot more enemies, and they are the stealth fighters. Now I do have some already other fighters which help me in this combat. And if I'm good, I can blindly hit that cloaked target. Here you can clearly see how nice it is when all shots are fired in one single nearby volley. So you can see 4 shoots really hitting their target instead of 1 or 2 missing. It's also nice, the ship is burning, so the cloak is not working too well for it now. On the radar screen you can see red dots, which are enemies, and you can see yellow dots. Yellow dots are neutral. When I would be more affiliated with the humans, you can see it's a Terran station, no Terran system, and this one is a Terran. They would turn green, and when I would be attacked, they might protect me. Okay, cargo hold is not yet full, so let's check some asteroids. If there are Class A asteroids. Yes, there are quite a lot. Another thing I have not yet discussed is unfortunately something Galaxy on Fire does not use too much, and that is speed of your fighter. You can adjust the speed, like you can see here, from 100 whatnot to 0, so I'd say it's 100% or 0% thrust. But unfortunately, you cannot. Unfortunately, all ships are not different concerning their speed. So you cannot outrun with normal means. You can, however, install a booster and use that. So this is a little bit interesting. Like here, you can use the booster. This makes controlling your fighter quite difficult, but it allows you to do some additional strategies. Without that booster, flying gets a little bit more difficult, and you should have ships with different speeds, with a manageable energy system, which also affects your maximum speed. So for example, you could take energies from the laser instead from the shields, which would also boost your engines and allow you to run away faster. This would be an additional strategy element, which is unfortunately not available here in this game. But fortunately there is still a booster which helps. And you can use a stop. The stop order, so if some enemy passes you and you want to do a quick turn, you can stop and do the quick turn instead of doing the quick turn with the engines full throttle, which makes in fact a larger circle, and you and the enemy can constantly circle each other, and no one will in fact target, but you do want to target your enemy. Okay, let's fly to the station. So the booster is one type of equipment you can get into your equipment slots, and I would very much recommend this piece of equipment. Unfortunately, the booster cannot be used continually. It has to recharge, and as you can see, now it is available again. This is of course some strategic additional element, so you cannot boost the whole time. So we do have 2 Seasogan cores, still not enough, and I would not like to do all the drilling on my own. I think that will bore you, but if it is necessary I will just do it off cam. So let's ship the 2 additional Seasogan cores to Thynome and wait and see how we can get the final 8. When we're in Augmenta, let's fly to Damark and see what we can get there. Still Nivalian border space, so there are Nivalian freighters in the vicinity. Fortunately, they are only freighters, so they cannot pursue me. Here there are no enemies, so I can use the time speed up feature and look if there are some... no, there are no Seasogan cores here. Okay, let's go on, perhaps to a nearby system like, well, how about Union? Let's begin with a Tornard and fly to Tornard Station. This time we're using the Cador drive, and this did cost us 2 energy cells. Let's check some Class A asteroids. Yes, the targeting is not very accurate for asteroids, and there is unfortunately not a key to change the target. This is a remnant feature of time where this was a iPhone and iPad game only. You have, can I say it is an advantage or disadvantage, you do not have too much key presses, which you will have to learn, but which also make you to be content with what you've got. Nevertheless, I think this game is quite nice to have for these times. There are other games in this genre, but I think the time currently is not too good for those games. There are not too many really right now which are enjoyable to play like this one, and that is one of the main interesting features, to have a game which is enjoyable to play, and I'd say that is one of the most interesting and most important features today. And like I said, not many games do sport that feature. Let's see if the commodity exchange sports Seasogan core, and they did not. Okay, 7 to go. This might be a quite boring episode. let's ship them to Dynam and go on with our journey. Okay, go to Tornard. Yeah, well, go to Tornard. I am in Tornard. There is Sutnar. And oh, there's quite some fighting underway between factions I'm neutral with, and we can see some Vosk ships. That's the advantage when you're neutral with some people. They don't attack you, but they also don't defend you. Now you can see the targeting system shows to target the fighter in front of me, not the asteroid. Let's see if it will now choose the asteroid. No, there is another fighter. But now I can see that it is gold, which does not interest me at the moment. Gold, Parius, Oracle scene, but not at the A-type asteroid. That's right, and also not at the A-type one. Well, let's land. And Hypenium. No, do not need that anymore. But no Cisogen. I'd say let's check and perhaps do some missions in the meantime. I think you did not yet see the space launch. Here in the space launch some people might be with some missions for you. Here you can see, hi there, you're talking to Alima Benoit. I need your help. There is a convoy at Fair transporting illegal goods. You need to destroy all the ships, 86,750 credits, which includes a 3-person standing bonus. Am I interested? Now I can show it on the map. It's quite far away. I would not say deep, but it is into Vosk space. I'm currently not enemy with the Vosk. And what are my risks? It shouldn't cause any difficulties, she says. Now, that might make the Vosk enemies, so I will not do that mission right now. So, what does Kimar Leroyne say? He wants me to ship 81 containers full of endangered animals to Gisen. Well, that might be difficult since my cargo space is only 90 and 81 makes not much space for energy cells.
Need a few hands?
And we have Max Faber. Max Faber wants me to become a hero like me, so I can take him as my disciples, and he will pay me 3,720 to take him as a wingman. So let's try that. This is also a feature when you get almost all the achievements and get a good rating. Wingman will not cost money, but Wingman will pay money. Although 3,000 around is not that much money if you consider what a ship costs and what normal commodity costs. So let's see where we will go next. There is still Kappa with the wormhole attached to it. Here you can see my group of wingmen. If you're opposing a greater force, it is quite nice to have wingmen, since all the enemies are then spread out, also fighting the wingmen. This is the main advantage of that. I would not count on the Wingman doing actual and useful combat. But we can see what it is to use Wingman and fight the pirates. Now, some basic strategy is always not directly confront the enemy. Fortunately, there is some kind of possibility to evade here in Galaxy on Fire, so I would recommend using that possibility. Alternatively, you do not face your enemies directly and approach them most probably from the sides. Then also try to lead your target if it is running faster, not like this ship, and then shoot where it will be, so you can go in for the kill. And where's the last enemy? Here you can see the targeting skills of your Wingman, not too much, I'd say. Okay. Was it? We got some kills and my Wingman got some experiences. Well, at least they think that they do. And I also think I will go try some asteroids and then dock with the Kappa station. Or dock with the Kappa station at once. Perhaps you saw the message that in systems which are affected by the supernova gamma radiation, Wingmen will not follow you. These are those Wingmen like you now have seen. And let's look into the commodity exchange, which still does not have any Seasogan core. Okay, on to the next system. Perhaps go to Aquila and let's hope that Kador used some materials which are available around Thinome. And you can also see the Wingmen are still there. They will accompany you for some flights, and if they think they have done enough, they say that they will now use this knowledge and go their own path. Oh, looks like a nice big ship, and that might be one of the disadvantages of Wingmen. They will target your enemies even if you are not interested in actually engaging them, like this Nivelian freighter. Well, this is one of the new things in Galaxy on Fire 2 Supernova, larger ships. They look quite impressive, but we cannot land on this carrier or dock with them. Well, obviously, I think the military doesn't want us here. Well, let's see how long my Wingman would take to eliminate these Nivelian ships. As I said, I'm not interested in eliminating those. So we will dock with the station and see if they have some Seasogan core on display. What's also helpful when fighting is having a ship with a good and agile thrusting experience, and that makes it very much easier to target your enemy and to evade your enemy yourselves if you prefer a ship which is not that agile, then perhaps look for ships with turrets, so you can go to turret view and target your enemies from the turret. That might be most helpful when you're using a freighter. And the freighter also has the advantage of having much more cargo space. And this station has the disadvantage of not carrying any Seasogan core. Now I think I will fly around and see if there are some stations, and perhaps we will see each other when we have enough, and I will do some time jump for that. Okay, but you can see a nice fight, so I think we have not yet time jump. Also, pirates do have quite some loot, perhaps something valuable is available then. You can see how the octopus tractor beam automatically takes the loot and stores it in my cargo hold, which is unfortunately now full. Interesting that there is so much pirate activity here. Like I said, it's quite nice to have so many wingmen when you're confronted with so many enemies. Okay, let's land. Oh, still enemies approaching. But I'm approaching the station. And Seasogan core! Yes! We can get enough. Are those enough? I think so. Yeah, and we will not ship those to Thynome, since Thynome is not too far away. Like you can see, Wolf Rise is right next. So we will do it on the old way, travel via jump gate. Do not have the pirate to fight the pirates this time. Since doing inter-system jump goes without any further distraction. And there are enemies, but the jump gate is quite near, so I will take the jump gate, use the booster, and fly to Thynome. There is Thynome Station, and we just have to land there and conclude this episode so far. Okay, we've reached Thynome, we have everything the blueprint requires. I'd say thank you very much, and we will see each other again next time. Leave a like if you liked, and see ya!